It is Friday, February 7th, and you are tuned into DIRTRACKR Daily. Welcome to the show, day two. Appreciate everybody who tuned in yesterday, whether you listened to the podcast or watched on YouTube or Facebook. Had a bunch of people reach out, so thank you for that. And obviously, we'll keep digging here. I wanted to start out today with a couple of news items from Tony Stewart Racing that came out in the last couple of days. First of all, adding Advanced Auto Parts as a sponsor of both the 14 and 15 sprint cars this year. It'll include primary replacement for not only Advanced Auto Parts, but also Advanced Professional, CarQuest, and TechNet. Good to see some new partners coming into sprint car racing. Obviously, the 15 of Donnie Schatz, the 14 of Tony Stewart, but the 14 has been driven by Tim Shea for the last couple of nights at DIRTcar Nationals. But obviously, we'll see smoke in that car most of the season. And the other news item will excite those gamers out there. Tony Stewart announcing he is going to release a sprint car video game. Tony Stewart Sprint Car Racing is a video game for Xbox and PlayStation. The game will be released for download on February 14th. It features the All-Stars, the All-Star TQ Midgets, and 305 sprint cars. Also, the voice of Blake Anderson will be in there. I saw that. So pretty cool for that. If you're interested in that, check that out. I didn't talk about this yesterday, but I wanted to kind of go back and give you the rundown on what's gone on with the UMP Modifieds at DIRTcar Nationals. Always a fun category at DIRTcar Nationals. Ton of cars every night, good fields. A lot of NASCAR guys show up to race in this. The first night they had 75 cars, the second night they had 78 cars, and then last night 81 cars on the property for DIRTcar Nationals. Guys, you know, the usual suspects, your Kyle Stricklers, your Nick Hoffmans, guys like that. David Stremme obviously there as well, but then this field also includes Ray Bollinger, Donnie Moran, Brian Ruhlman, Kenny Wallace, David Stremme, Justin Allgaier, NASCAR driver Justin Haley, Mike McKinney, Sheldon Creed, Matt Crafton, a ton of great guys there, a ton of great cars. Looking back on Tuesday night, the opener of DIRTcar Nationals, Michael Long, he won the opening night for the second straight year. He beat Kyle Strickler, Ryan Kripe, Nick Hoffman, and Zeke McKenzie. Zeke went 28th to 5th in that feature, and those features aren't super long, but Stremme had a big wreck. If you missed that, go check that out on the DIRTcar Racing YouTube. He got turned on the backstretch, collected a few cars. Justin Haley got airborne, so go check that out if you haven't seen that. Wednesday night, Kyle Strickler, your winner over Nick Hoffman, David Stremme, Michael Long, and Jason Hughes. Zeke McKenzie again 25th to 8th. Pretty incredible night for him again. He was your hard charger. Obviously both nights now he was a hard charger for the first two nights. And last night, Nick Hoffman grabbed the win over Mike McKinney. Hoffman grabbed the lead pretty early on, lap 7, lap 8, and held on from there to win. They had some cautions that made it a little bit closer than it probably looked, but Hoffman drove away to win that. Brian Ruhlman was third. Zeke wasn't hard charger for the third straight night, but he did go 16th to 6th. Again, another big moving night. If we could get Zeke to start a little further up in that feature, he might win one of these things. Justin Allgaier was 4th, and Kenny Wallace was 7th. They continue through the weekend at DIRTcar Nationals. They will race tonight, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night. And I believe maybe Monday as well. I'd have to go look at the schedule to be sure. And then the Big Block Modified Super DIRTcar Series and the Late Models Takeover for DIRTcar Nationals for the remaining time next week. The other racing going on last night, we talked about it yesterday, is the Lucas Oil Dirt Late Model Series at East Bay Raceway Park. I didn't talk about this yesterday, but I wanted to go back and mention this. I saw the video. Jonathan Davenport leading and hits a hole in turn 4. It folds the whole nose underneath the car. He loses control basically right at the flag stand, and Kyle Bronson nowhere to go, piles into the back of him. Both drivers' nights obviously ended, and cars were hurt pretty good. I believe both guys had to go to backup cars. I heard Bronson had to go back to his shop. He's actually from Florida and had to get some work done at his shop to get back to East Bay for last night's show on Thursday night. After starting 12th, Brandon Shepard, your winner over Josh Richards and Billy Moyer Jr. Richards sent to the rear at the beginning of the race for his deck height being too tall, races all the way back to second. The race was super good up front to start the show. That first 13, 14 laps, Brandon Overton, Tim McCready, Boom Briggs, all those guys leading laps, swapping back and forth. But once Shepard got to the lead on lap 14, he took off, and that was pretty much all she wrote for the Lucas Oil Dirt Late Model Series at East Bay Raceway Park. Let me pull up the points real quick just to give you a quick rundown on where we are for right now. Obviously, like I said yesterday, a lot of racing left to go this year. But Brandon Sheppard is your new points leader over Tim McCready and Devin Moran for the season-long points. And then for the Speed Weeks points, Brandon Sheppard also your leader over Tim McCready and Devin Moran. With some nights and stuff still to go here. So keep in mind, let me get a quick check at the schedule here while I'm looking, just so you can get an idea of what's left. Obviously, East Bay tonight, the 7th, again on the 8th. And then they move over to Alltech Raceway on the 9th to finish out the Lucas Oil Winter Nationals, or to finish out the Speed Weeks here for Lucas Oil Dirt Late Model Series. Sprint cars in action again last night at DIRTCar Nationals, the All-Star Circuit of Champions, their final night at Volusia for the DIRTCar National, or for their portion of DIRTCar Nationals before the World of Outlaws take over on Friday night, obviously tonight as we speak. Good feature. Some tire issues late in that race. You saw guys like Sam Haferteep, Wayne Johnson, Tim Schaefer, Parker Price Miller all losing right rear tires. Start out that feature, Ian Madsen, Brad Sweet up front again, just like the night before. Reitzel comes, he takes the lead. It was his first Volusia win, his 26th All-Star win. Like I said, Ian Madsen fast again. He finished second the first night, third last night. And crazy stuff. A lot of cautions there at the end as some guys started losing right rear tires. And it looked like maybe Reitzel was going to have a problem too. His tire was definitely showing cords, and a lot of people worried if he was going to be able to make it to the finish or not. And after he won, he went to victory lane and they did all the pictures and the hat dance and stuff. And then they went to roll the car back to the trailer and the tire had gone flat sitting in victory lane. So they actually had to change the tire in victory lane to be able to get the car all the way back to the trailer. So pretty crazy stuff there last night from Volusia. Hopefully we won't see those tire issues pop up again. It was super windy yesterday at Volusia, and I know they had some issues at East Bay as well. We had a weather system come through the south, which actually we're still dealing with a little bit this morning, but brought a lot of wind and a lot of rain, some tornado warnings and things like that. So I'm sure that wind probably had a lot to do with the issues at Volusia. So hopefully we'll get those solved, and or not get those solved, but the wind hopefully won't be a factor the remaining time at Volusia. Looking at some analytics, I kind of wanted to, I know I talked about it briefly yesterday, but some of the stuff I'm doing with DIRTRACKR, I've got some, I'm kind of working on an analytics kind of project for the site, and so far I've added all of the Outlaw shows from 2019, and I've got the full night's results, I've got qualifying through the feature, I've got heat races, I've got, the one thing I'm kind of missing on a few of those races is money. I've put up a money stat just to kind of give you an idea if you're looking through those pages about what kind of money guys brought home, but I'm missing that money amount for some of those features. So I don't have complete numbers for the money, but I do have things like starting position, finishing position, that kind of plus minus I'm able to figure out. And so I'm going to start kind of working towards some kind of more advanced stats and some more kind of complicated breakdowns of how the season went. And I'm really curious about kind of predicting if there's a specific stat or a specific place you finished at, in qualifying or in a heat race or something that, sets you up for the night. And so I'm kind of going to start working on some more advanced numbers to kind of see what I can get, kind of figured out in terms of stats to see what I can predict on a nightly basis. And so I'm going to add more seasons. I'm going to add more series. I think I mentioned that yesterday. Let me know if you have an opinion. If you're listening to the show, reach out on social media or email me. Let me know what you think about which direction I should go next. Should I add more outlaw races? Should I go further back? I'm going to continue, since I have 2019 in, as 2020 races happen, I'm going to be kind of putting those in real time. But going through and backfilling races, should I do that first, or should I go back through and add other series? Let me know what you think, if you have an opinion there. But I have, like I said, the 2019 season, and then I've gone ahead and not only do I have results for each race night, but I've added driver pages. So if you click on a driver's name anywhere through the analytics section, it'll take you to a page with just their information. It includes a full list of their results for the season, their feature wins, top fives, top tens, average finish, average start, that kind of incomplete money number, laps led, their feature plus minus is where they start to versus where they finish. Same with the heat race, and then their qualifying average. So kind of for today, I wanted to take a look at everybody always talks about how important qualifying is with the Outlaw format. You hear guys all the time like, oh, we got to make sure we qualify well because that sets you up for the whole night. So I kind of wanted to look into some numbers and see, about that importance of qualifying and what that actually looks like in number form. So I went back and I pulled out all of the qualifying positions for every race winner for last season. So I have 73, I believe 73 basically nights where there was a qualifying and a feature run. There's a couple of races throughout the year where there is no qualifying. Obviously Saturday at the Knoxville Nationals and Saturday at the Jackson Nationals, there is no qualifying because those feature nights and all the mains and stuff are set up through the previous night's action. So I went back through and I've kind of got it broken out here. Quick Time won 12 of 73 features in 2019 for the World of Outlaws, so that's about 16%. What's interesting is that's not the highest number. We actually had more winners who qualified second than we did the quick timers. So second quick in qualifying won 16 races this year, is about 22%. Third quick won 8 races, fourth quick won 9 races, and fifth quick won 4 races. So if you look at it, that top 5 qualifying, that's about 67% of the features won started in that top 5 throughout the season. But what's interesting is I wanted to kind of see obviously all the way through and how deep this goes in terms of like where you can qualify and still have a chance. So continuing on back, 6th won 3 races, 7th won a race, 8th won 6, 9th won 3 races. So still some chance there obviously as you get down further into the top 10 in qualifying. No 10th fastest qualifier won a feature in 2019, which I think is interesting, but 11th won 2 races, 12th won 3 races. And then so here's where we start kind of running out of numbers here. No 13th fastest won a feature. Hey, maybe that's a luck thing, obviously 13. 14th quick won 2 races. 15th quick actually won 3 races. And some different formats here. Now is kind of where we kind of get into some of those weird spots where we had Brent Marks at the National Open. He won from 15th in qualifying, and Trey Starks at Knoxville, his prelim night, won from 15th. Obviously some different formats for both of those shows. But the one kind of standout here, David Gravel won from 15th at Colorado Speedway early in the spring. That's a standard Outlaw format, so he had to do some work through his heat race and into the feature to get up there to win that race. No 16th fastest qualifier, no 17th fastest qualifier won a show in 2019. The kind of low man on the totem pole here, 18th fastest was the furthest back somebody won a race from qualifying. That was Brad Sweet, but at the Kings Royal. And so obviously the Kings Royal, they do heat race inversions, so that kind of changes things up a little bit. I believe the first 3 or 4 like spots in the 30s are what start on the front row of the heat races. So obviously Brad being 18th quick, that set him up for a halfway decent spot in a heat race, which then allowed him to win Kings Royal. So like not necessarily a fluke per se, but a little bit of kind of extenuating circumstances with him winning from 18th. I wanted to kind of also look at that difference between Shots and Sweet here with qualifying. If you look at the average start position, Sweet's average start position for the season was 6.2. Shots' is 6.9. If you total that up over those 73 features, basically if you add together all of the starting positions for Sweet and for Shots, that total starting position number for Sweet is 455. That total number for Shots is 505. So that's a 50 position difference over the full season, which then equates to about 0.7%. For the season, to give you an idea of the importance of that number. Sweet's feature plus minus for the season was plus 90. His heat race plus minus was 31, with his qualifying average being 6.7. Shots, though, had a much better feature plus minus at plus 125. That's 35 positions higher in the feature that he was able to advance. And then he had a heat race plus minus of 43. So again, more advancement in the heat race for Shots. But because of that, 50 position deficit that he had over the course of the season too sweet. He would have needed to obviously make up a lot more of that to have a chance. And we saw obviously at the end of the season, Schatz comes up a couple of points short, and Sweet wins the championship. So going to kind of continue working in this direction with some of these numbers. I would really like to get to a point where I could almost, have a prediction on a nightly basis based on past results of who could be up front and maybe not necessarily do power rankings per se, but actually have, some real data to kind of back up those decisions. So as I continue working through these numbers and kind of thinking about things, I'll continue adding some stuff to the page. And I actually added average start to the driver pages yesterday as I was working through this, so you can find that stuff there now. And then we'll continue kind of talking about this and as we add more series, more races, things like that. Obviously, these discussions can kind of expand. But I wanted to point out some podcasts this week that had some good guests. Wing Nation this week actually blew it out of the water. Fred Raymer and Zimco Racing both appearing on Wing Nation, so go check those out. And then also Wing Nation talked to both Outlaw rookies Wayne Johnson and Mason Daniel this week, and I actually sat in on that show with Steve Post, so go check those out from Wing Nation. Rip the Fence has Raleigh Helmling, USAC president for quite a few years. We had David Gravel on Open Red. He's getting ready to do that kind of first foray into stock car racing, and as we sit here Friday, I believe ARCA cars will be on track today, so keep up with that and see how David does through the weekend. What happens in this ARCA race for David will kind of help set him up for his NASCAR license and get him prepared for those truck races that he's going to run through the season. And then Dirt Nerds has John Ivey, so check those out. You can find all that stuff at DIRTRACKR.com/podcast. DIRTRACKR, I didn't mention this yesterday, DIRTRACKR, Dirt Tracker, so 1T, no E in Dirt Tracker. Let's get a quick check of the pay-per-view shows that are going to be available tonight at DIRTRACKR.com/watch tonight. Dirt on Dirt has the Winter Freeze from Screven late models. Volusia, DIRTcar Nationals, both DIRTcar UMP Modifieds and NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars will be live on Dirt Vision. The Sunshine Swing Short Track Super Series Modifieds from Alltech Raceway is on Dirt Track Digest. The Winter Dirt Games for the USAC National Midgets kickoff at Bubba Raceway Park on Flow Racing. East Bay, again, Lucas Oil Late Model Series back. That's on Lucas Oil Racing TV. And then 3 shows, looks like, from Speed Shift, Winter Nationals from North Florida, 602 Sportsman Mods and Florida Late Models, Arizona Speedway for the IMCA Desert Short Track Tour, and Hendry County Motorsports Park, USCS Sprint Cars Mod Lights, V8 Warriors Mini Stocks, 4.64s Open Wheel Modifieds. All of those 3 shows are on Speed Shift. Like I said, you can find all of that at DIRTRACKR.com/watch tonight. That's it for today. The Dirt Tracker, obviously, besides things like the daily news, I keep mentioning the pay-per-view stuff, podcasts. I got track pages on there as well. This was kind of one of those things that kind of got brought up initially when I first started talking about doing Dirt Tracker, was having some track stuff and some requests like from some team guys and some people that had reached out to me on Twitter. So I currently have 151 tracks in the track section. If you go on there, I've got them broken down by state. At some point, as I get to it, I'm going to make that searchable by zip code and some different things. I just haven't gotten to it yet. But each track page has basic track info, phone address, website address, things like that. I've got weather on there for each track, and then doing some kind of cool things through Google Maps. I've got nearby car washes, which was a big request from the crew guys, and then nearby restaurants, hotels, and stores. So if you are a race fan or a race team traveling to maybe a track you haven't seen this year, there's some good information on there, and if you see something maybe I'm missing, or you think I can make some improvements, let me know, and we can obviously work through that stuff as we go. If you'd like to kind of follow and keep up with Dirt Tracker, you can like it on Facebook, facebook.com/DirtTracker. Follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/DirtTracker. Obviously, the website address, DirtTracker.com. You can follow me on Twitter at Justin_Fiedler. And then I put the weekly newsletter sign up. That's live right now on Dirt Tracker. So get signed up for that, and I will probably send out maybe the first email for that this weekend. I'll get that compiled and get that sent out for those of you that have signed up for that. So with that, I appreciate you tuning in. It is the weekend now. Keep up with everything that's going on. We'll be back on Monday with a new show. So check that out, and appreciate y'all tuning in.